All right, we are working on the 2005 Yamaha VX 110 Sport today. We are going to do spark plugs, all four. We are going to change the oil filter, which is buried down on this side somewhere. And then we're going to put some fresh oil in here. This runs off a dry sump system, so pretty much however much you get out is how much you put back in, and then you want it to read on your dipstick appropriately. Yeah, we're also going to do some wipe new treatments to the plastics here. We got some gray fading up on the handlebars, the front here. I might de-sticker it a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of these kind of streaky decals that came from the factory, so I might take those guys off. Just give it a cleaner look. Probably keep the Yamaha sticker, but yeah, I'm just going to use a hand pump for this oil change and see what I can do about that filter down there, and we'll get working. Good deal. Alright guys, so I ran it for a couple minutes, connected to the hose. That red adapter goes to this guy. That's the hose inlet. So I wanted to warm it up for a couple minutes before I changed the oil. And this is the contraption I have to pump the old oil out. So I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see down in there, but see if I can get a good angle. See down that hole in there that I have my tube going into? It's going to be a tough focus. But you want to get down in there because that's where the bottom of the oil pan is. And I connected that to the bottom of my pump, and then my pump into this Poland spring bottle, which I will then transfer into my oil collection tube. So trying to get as much as I can, but it's not the easiest process. I think I got most of it, so I think we're gonna move on to the filter now. All right, so we got the filter out. That was actually the most difficult part. I actually had to get on the jet ski facing this way, reach my hand through there, and pull it towards me because I would have been to the left to get it off. And I thought I was going to have to go get an oil filter wrench, but thankfully I was able to get it. Now we got the K&N ready to go in. It makes an awful mess when you take that filter off because you can't see anything. It's down buried below this intake plenum and under this plenum as well. And you do what you can to clean it up, but you really can't reach in there all the way. And to really clean the bottom of the jet ski, because it seems like this was a problem for previous owners as well, you really have to take some more of the engine apart to get down there and clean it up. But there's not a whole lot of oil down there. I was able to get a glimpse of it. It's not super concerning. So we're gonna go back in with the K&N. This is a KN 303, and then we will add some oil. All right, so we have the K&N in there. Now you can see, the black nut that shines coming off down there. So that's the K&N. I definitely recommend these K&Ns because that makes the installation and I'm sure uninstall so much easier, because I can fit my 17 right down there. You can see I'm gonna come right under here and I'm on it. You know, that is so much easier than messing around with a nutless oil filter. So definitely recommend using a K&N 303 for that ease. Don't torque it down too much. Really, I just use a couple fingers when I'm putting it on, and that'll make next season that much easier. All right, so we just got done adding our oil. So this is a dry sump system. I think the whole system holds about 4.5 quarts, but because it's a dry sump, all you can replace is what's in the pan, which is only about 2 to 3 quarts. So I added about 2.5 quarts of this full synthetic AMSoil 10W40. This was highly recommended on forums and is known to mix well with previous oils if they weren't necessarily a synthetic previously. Because you can only replace what is in the oil pan, being that dry sump system, this is a good engine oil to use, even though that it's not in the product manual. So yeah, we went with this AMSoil. About 2.5 quarts is what I added, and it reads kind of low on the dipstick, but from what I was reading, you kind of want these to read kind of low because a normal to high level will actually make the engine read that there's actually too much oil. So I've read that a couple places that is an issue. So a lower level is okay, and we can just monitor it. I also replaced the spark plugs. These guys are cooked. So all 4 of them, and these are an NGK CR9EB. So we'll put a little bit of anti-seize on the new ones that went in there, and as you can see, these guys are pretty burnt. So I'm pumped that we got those replaced. I started it back up, and she runs good. So on to working on some body panels. I want to get these stickers off, so we'll see what we can do. All right, this is an update post spark plugs, oil change, and I took all the decals off that came from the factory when it was made in 2005, and I think it looks a lot better. I'm still going to give it a really nice wash and probably a couple coats of wax, but I think it came out a lot better with all those decals off. So I'm really happy with it. I mean, we'll see how it turns out after a couple coats of wax. The hull is not in great shape, but that's kind of okay. We're not racing this thing or anything, so really pumped with how this turned out, and we'll see how it takes a nice wash and wax. All right, continuing the Yamaha VX110 Sport kind of refab. We gave it a nice wash this morning. We hit the nicks with some touch-up paint. It was just this, what do we got here? Just a color right. I found this guy online. It looked like the same paint code. Not that I'm looking for an exact match, because we're just kind of trying to get this guy back up to speed, not perfect showroom condition. I had some marks here, so we just covered that guy up. Had some on the back here as well. So we're going to let that stuff dry. We're going to give it a wax, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, so we are done with oil change, spark plugs, wash, wax just with the regular old turtle wax. I'll show you guys what I used here. Just the old turtle wax here. I hit the, let's see here, I hit the trim pieces with a little bit of white new. Up here, I don't want to touch it quite yet because it's not totally cured. I don't know how well that took. Hit the seat with it as well. I don't know if that seat might be a little beyond saving. White new up here as well. And then had to hit it with a couple of personalization decals, the Detroit and the Oakley. Came out really good. Not bad for 14 years old. She's ready for a summer out on the water. Thanks for watching, guys.